It's time for the Salt and Sass podcast when we share our love for the wonderful world of board games with you, whether you're a gaming veteran or just starting your tabletop journey. Welcome to episode 89? 89.
89.
I'm Suzanne.
And I'm Mandi.
Mandi, is this just going to be a section now? Because I see that you at the last minute updated the show notes with a line 3D printing.
It's not going to be a segment, but until I get tired of it or my ADHD gets tired of it, 3D printing is going to be a thing we're going to talk about just a little bit.
Okay. Not to encourage you, but did you 3D print Crocs?
Yes, I did.
What? Like, is it a statue? Like, is it a display piece? What is going on there?
They are legitimate shoes that are, in fact, functional. So I printed...
You don't wear them.
I swear to you. Okay, let's be clear. I've never worn Crocs in my entire life at all. But I was like, this is a cool thing. Let me try this. And it's with a different material. So for those who do 3D print, it's with TPU. So it's a bit of a smushier material. And I was like, I want to try all the things, you know? So I was like, I got a roll. Let's try it. So I printed some black ones as a test one for myself. Little errors here and there, but it was pretty good. And then my mom's like, those are cute. I want some. So I printed her some in purple. And hers came out beautiful. Like, they're so good.
How do you... They cannot be comfortable.
Surprisingly,
They're
they are
hard.
comfortable.
Aren't they hard?
No, this material that I use has flex to it. So, yeah, it works out really well. And I was able to change a little bit of the density so it wasn't too hard. And it was great. It looks great.
Bananas.
Why not? What about you? Come on. I know you're printing some stuff.
So boring compared to... I've really discovered the wonderful world of 3D printed inserts and how many different games have insert files out there. So literally right now, my printer's going on an insert for a new solo game I got, which is amazing. Nice. But no, I mean, I'm not in Croc territory. Let's put it that way. Oh my goodness.
But I have been printing some board... I feel like I haven't been printing enough board game stuff. So I was like, okay, need to bring it back to the board game world. And I'm printing, and I guess like an RPG or like a DM box. So someone who leads RPG sessions, and you're like, do you do a lot of that? No, but I do a lot of solo RPGs. So I want to have it so it's like my little carry box that has all the stuff, all my supplies that I need when I have a session. But if I do decide to run a session, it has a screen, it has dice towers. Like, this thing is wild. Anyway, we're on 2 days of printing this. I had to take a little break because I ran out of a color, but we'll get back to it. It'll probably be like another 2 more days of printing. It's a lot. It's a lot.
All right. What else has been up with you?
I've been like really focused on the game front. You know, I'm all about the video games, right? I've been playing a lot of Banishers. I think that's the one I talked about the last time. Really still like that game, but I feel like the combat's a little repetitive. So loving the story a lot. I can give or take the combat's like whatever, but the story is super good. So I'm totally playing it for that, puttering around. And then I thought I'd try this new game that came out, and I don't know if it would be considered an indie game or not, but it is a newer one. It's called Mio Memories in Orbit. And have you heard of this game?
No, I haven't heard of this one at all.
Okay. So I think it got like pretty good reviews. And I think the developer is 12 and the publisher is Focus Entertainment, which I don't know if I know games from them, maybe. And it is a Metroidvania. So if you're not into that type of game, this might not be for you. Do you like Metroidvania games? I think
I mean, to be clear, Metroid, the old Metroids on like the Game Boy, are like some of my all-time favorite games. Sure. But they like to make them very difficult now, and I'm not that great at them. So I do like them, but the ones that are like extreme challenge, impossible, I don't play them because I can't do them.
No, and that's fair. Like your Hollow Knights and things like that, I love it. I'm just not very good at them, but I do enjoy playing them. This one is you're going through like what they say, like a vessel. So it is kind of like a space kind of vibe there. And an enormous technological arc overgrown machine has gone rogue. And so you're just trying to find out the secret, the abilities, and save the spaceship. And this is the exact quote. And its residents from Oblivion. No pressure. It's a bit weird. Like the art, it's like flowy. So like when you jump, it's like you have long, it's not even hair. It's like, I don't know, everything just seems very flowy, and like the art just seems not as structured for these types of games. Do you know what I mean? So I really like that about it. It's a little forgiving, and you can play it on a mode where it's not as challenging. So That's kinda where I'm sitting right now. I've had enough of that, and you're like, "Give me a break, do something cool." Even the opening scene is really cool, like, it's just you like, lines, you jump, it creates another scene, you jump, and then you kind of get into the game. So I really thought the artistic part of it was very, very cool. So if you're into Metroidvania type games and you don't mind and you like the fact that you can go from challenging to not like, you can pick whatever level works for you, which is probably why I'm really into it. It's really good. So far, it's been a little battle. Just trying to figure out where you're going is probably my biggest challenge, but that's me in any game because there's not like a set kind of map, right? Other than that, yeah, it's been pretty good. So it's new. Check it out. Meow Memories in Orbit. If you have Game Pass, it is on there. So
Of course it is.
yeah, I know. You know that's the only way I'm going to try it.
Yeah.
I'm paying for it, so why not?
Fair enough. Absolutely. Well, I've been playing some video games. The only one I want to mention today is Tiny Chef's Shift. Tiny Chef's Shift. It's a typing game, Mandi. I just like every once in a while I just like typing games. I don't know why. And this one's adorable. Imagine if if you've played Plate Up, imagine if Plate Up was a typing game and you get Tiny Chef's Shift. Super cute. So basically you have a little restaurant and you're the little chef and
Gosh.
you have to fulfill customer orders. So maybe a customer comes in and they want an espresso, or a customer wants a pizza or something like that. And you have different stations and different ingredients. And basically, to progress it in Plate Up, you would run over there, right? And you tap a button or something like this. Instead, you have to type the word that's over the ingredient. So if you're doing the pizza and the word ball is over the dough station, then you type
Yeah.
ball. And then, you do the sauce station and that word is whatever, bookish. And then you type that. So you are basically, you see all these words and you just have to type the words to trigger the action, and then to deliver it to the customer, there's a word that you have to type to pay and take their money. There's a word you have to type. Mice will try to invade, so you have to type the little word to, shoo away the mice so you don't get mice. It's really charming, and
Yeah.
if you like typing games, it's really solid. I was been so impressed. You can get improvements, you can add lamps and fancy things to grow your restaurant, and it's delightful if you like typing games. Tiny Chef's Shift, I really am liking that one.
I've not heard of this game, but it sounds very, very
It's adorable. I don't know why I like typing games. I don't know. I like typing games. There you
Yeah,
go.
I think it's
Go figure.
awesome. And there's one game I want to talk about, and I'm pretty sure you're want to want this game too. I haven't played it. If anybody's played it, they can drop this in the forum and let me know if it's worth checking out. But I just think it looks really cute. Mugenics. It's another one that's new, and it looks so cute.
Yeah, so this is by the guys who did Binding of Isaac.
Yes.
It looks intense. I'm thinking about it. I'm thinking about it.
Okay. Well, I thought I was just me out there, but I was just like, it looks cool, and everyone's been talking about it, so why not?
Yeah, oh yeah, for sure. So before we roll into crowdfunding, I just thought, we'd talk a little bit about. So actually, oh my gosh, man, we got so much to do. So quick chat about the industry.
Yep.
Quick game. I got a game for you, Mandi. Crowdfunding, games we've been playing, and of course, dessert at the end. So we got to get going. But
yeah,
we would be remiss in our duties as podcasters if we didn't talk about this. Has been a heck of a couple weeks in the board game industry. First off, unfortunately, there was a controversy about YouTube where Rodney Smith of Watch It Played has basically come out and said that Game Night Picks, who he's partnered with for years and years and years with Chaz, has been doing unethical ad practices in how he has built view counts, which he then charges publishers for the ad views on those videos. Rodney himself has released a statement and a video around that. If you're listening to this podcast, chances are you've already seen it, already heard it. It's a shame that it happened. Mandi, you and I have known both of these people for well over a decade now, and it's just sad. It's just sad to me in my role with Restoration Games, we've purchased ads on Game Night Picks before, and it's interesting to look back at some of those emails that I've received, et cetera, et cetera. So I encourage people to be kind to folks. That's not to say you don't hold people accountable. There's a big difference there. But I don't think this makes Rodney happy. I don't think it makes anybody happy. So that's one controversy. Then, oh my gosh, Ryan Dancy, who, if you know the name Ryan Dancy, Ryan's been in the tabletop industry for decades. He was part of Paizo and WotC, and not Paizo, maybe WotC and D&D and all this other stuff. And of late, over the last decade, he's been the chief operating officer for Alderac Entertainment.
Right.
And he posted on LinkedIn a whole thing where he basically said that he thought generative AI could make games as good as we have today, including naming games that his own company has produced, like Tiny Towns and Cubitos.
Right.
Well, Daniel Winter of the Gamers Club podcast saw that, shared that, and it kind of blew up. And a lot of people are very upset about this because of the negative, the millions of negative things about generative AI. And to be clear, you're not anti-tech just because you're against the environment killing. Like, literally, Mandi, hard drive companies came out a week ago saying they are out of 2026 inventory because these data centers are buying them all. RAM for a computer is exploding in cost because these stupid systems are taking all the supply.
Wait a second. Is this why things like Steam Deck and whatnot are sold out?
Yeah, they're saying yes.
Yeah, it's not going to come
they're
out because
saying
they
Switch
just
2 is struggling.
Yeah.
It's bananas.
It's
and
really
it's 'cause
bad.
these data centers and these huge memory bank facilities that are environment killing, et cetera, are taking all this stuff. All of that on top of, it's all theft based, on top of, you're denigrating the work of designers and artists and all. Anyway, it blew up with a fairly negative reaction from many in the board game community, and it resulted in Alderac letting them go. I think that Alderac felt like they were in a corner, and the sheer amount of negativity, especially when you're basically saying generative AI could have made 2 of your hit games, and that was a choice, right? To literally name their own games. So that's a thing, and you can look up there. Board Game Wire has a good article on it. And finally, fairly recently, the Supreme Court in the United States of America announced that they are quashing many of Trump's tariffs that he's been throwing around like candy the last year that literally put some publishers out of business.
Right.
Trump reacted and is saying, okay, 10% on everything then and all this, and he's going to fight it and all this other stuff. But it's interesting that even the Supreme Court, which is highly conservative and arguably very corrupt, even they were like, you can't do this one. Sorry. So, we'll see what impact that has on the board game industry specifically. Nothing is settled. Just because this happened doesn't mean it's over, doesn't mean tariffs are resolved, doesn't mean that publishers can get refunds on tariffs that were already paid, and even if they could, it'd take years. So be patient with publishers. If you're like, oh, great, well, then for that crowdfunding thing that I did, I don't have to pay a tariff fee, right? Things like that. Maybe, maybe not. Stay in tune with the news because that may not be how it actually falls out. But that was late breaking news that impacts industry as well. So, three kind of big news things over the last few weeks.
Well, that's good to know about, me being Canadian, right? Like we were just talking about crowdfunding and things like that. And I've had to I can't really, get that because I don't know what the tariff's going to be today and it might be something else tomorrow. So I know for us in Canada, and I know other places as well. Yeah, that's really been affecting our buying habits, right?
Yeah. All right, Mandi, why don't you go to crowdfunding first and then we'll play a little game?
Gosh, okay. All right, so crowdfunding, I'll be real quick on this one, just as we were talking about it. So this is a game I wanted to buy the physical book, but I'm like, I just can't. I can't do it. It's a little costly. So I decided I'm going to do the PDF for this one, and it's called Pumpkin Spice. I know. I feel like... Anyway, I was going to say something, but I'm going to leave that right where it is. So Pumpkin Spice is an RPG, and it's by Acheron Games. The campaign is on Backer Kit, and it's a really short campaign. It ends March 3rd, 2026. I decided to back the PDF, so it's 2 books, I think. One is the main book, and then I think there's like a little expansion, and that is about 47 Canadian dollars. And it literally is as it sounds. It's a magical, cozy RPG. And what they have is quoted here, it's you're running a magical cafe, and you're protecting the world's magic, and you're telling a story, 1 latte and a couple of D6s at a time. That's literally how they describe it. So The art is done by Sims Art. So there's somebody that has done that. And it's inspired by Kiki's Delivery Service. So if you're familiar with that, that might appeal to you as well. Legends and Lattes, Coffee Talk, and more. So Coffee Talk is a game I talked about on this podcast. Yeah. So, and I know a couple people had written in and said, hey, I tried that game and I love it. And so if you're into that kind of storytelling game, this might be for you, but that kind of like cozy vibe. So I know Stephanie, who does RPGs on the channel, Solo RPGs, was like, oh, this is like totally up my alley. And I almost didn't back it because I was like, it's not, there's no solo. Like, I love getting them, but I'm not going to get it to the table anytime soon. And then I looked, I'm like, oh, what's this I see? A little stretch goal. If we get this, it's solo. Well, it's already blown that past that stretch goal. And the designer confirmed there will be a solo mode.
Oh, that's
it's
awesome.
So cute.
This
so
looks
that's
delightful.
Pumpkin spice. Yeah.
This looks delightful, Mandi. I'm a little upset you pointed me towards it.
But listen, I'm gonna, we'll play one day together. But anyway, I'm at least getting the PDF so you can thumb through it to see if it's of interest for you.
It looks amazing. Thanks for that. All right. New game. First of all, thanks to folks who are chiming in with how their game show gauntlet, their game shelf gauntlet has gone. It's nice to see those comments. I love it. Some people thought it was easier. The dexterity one was easier for them than the previous one. I thought that was interesting.
Oh, no.
But we're going to switch it up. We have a new game. We've got Board Game Timeline. Let's call it. Not super unique. Board Game Timeline, the Stefan Feld edition.
Gosh, okay, now this is going to be so. First of all, I was already going to be terrible at it. Now I'm going to be terrible and feel terrible because I should know better.
But for those of you listening, if you have been hanging with us a long time, you know that Stefan Feld is Mandi's favorite game designer.
No pressure, Mandi. This is going to be bad. I'm just, disclaimer, don't at me, okay? Because this is going to be rough.
Real simple, because, it's audio, and we don't want to have to memorize too many things. I'm just going to give you 2 games. You tell me which one came first. That's it. Easy peasy, right? All right, first game pairing, Rum and Pirates and Notre Dame. Which one came first?
I'm going to be very honest with you. I've never played Rum and Pirates, so I'm going to say that Rum and Pirates probably came first.
Ding, ding, ding. You got it. Good job. All right, Mandi. Which one came first, Notre Dame or Trajan?
Okay, no, I actually think in this case, because I do have Trajan, I also have Notre Dame, but I got Notre Dame later, and I think it had been out longer. So which one came first? I think it's Notre Dame is first.
You did it. You are killing it. Nice job. That is right. So
don't hype me up yet.
Rum and Pirates is 2006. Notre Dame is 2007.
Oh, it was close. Close, though.
Which one came first, Mandi? Aquasphere or Amerigo?
Actually, okay, so I had Amerigo. For those who don't know, Amerigo is the one where you drop the little doohickeys in the tower and they go bloop, bloop, bloop and come out. That was a great description, by the way. So I've had Amerigo first, and then I got Aquasphere, but Aquasphere had been out for a little while. I just didn't have it. I'm gonna say Amerigo, but I might be wrong on this one.
You got it again, Mandi. It's almost like you know your Felds. Amerigo came out before Aquasphere.
Okay.
Here's the
what
twist.
was the timeline?
Yeah. Well, no.
Oh, sorry.
So which one came first? Which one came first, Mandi? Oracle of Delphi or Merlin?
I should know this, actually. Oh my gosh, why is this not coming to me? Now it's going to get a little murky here, everybody. I think it was Oracle of Delphi. I think. Or Delphi, however you want to pronounce it.
Whatever, yeah, Delphi. Yeah. That is correct. Oracle of Delphi came out before Merlin. Absolutely. You've gotten everyone correct so far. Amazing. Here's a little twist for you. Which one came first?
Oh boy.
Bruges or Trajan?
Okay, yeah, this one might be hard. So I actually got Bruges later than Trajan, as I like to call it, but I think Bruges had been out for a while because I don't necessarily get them in order. It's like I got Notre Dame, but it had been out for a while. And I know a lot of people had talked about Bruges, and I actually had the expansion as well. I don't think they make it anymore. I'm going to say, and this is where I might be in the wrong here, but I'm going to say Bruges.
You're going to say Bruges came out before Trajan?
Yes.
Oh, dinger. Yep. Bruges came out after Trajan by a couple of years, actually.
Really? Okay. Yeah. I think it was just I might have got confused when I purchased them.
All right. Last question, and this is a little bit of a twist, all right?
Okay.
And 13 was a very busy year for dear Mr. Feld, right?
Uh-huh.
So Fun fact, Marigot and Bruges both came out in 2013.
Really?
Yes.
Okay, that I didn't know.
But a couple of other notable titles also came out in 2013.
Yeah.
So, which of these titles also came out? 2 of the 3 came out in 2013. Rialto,
Okay.
Castles of Burgundy, and Bora Bora.
And I did play a lot of Bora Bora, like a lot, obscene amount. Okay, sorry. So repeat the question.
Which of these 2 of the 3 titles I'm about to mention came out in 2013 along with Amerigo and Bruges?
Okay.
Which of these titles came out in 2013?
Okay.
Rialto, Castles of Burgundy, and Bora Bora.
That's actually really hard because I know Castles of Burgundy's been around for a while, and I played an obscene amount of Bora Bora.
But Amerigo's been out for a while, too.
Yeah, but there was a time when, so I'm going to go on a little tangent here. I think it was games like La Isla. I think Bora Bora might have been one. There were a few of them that were under, what was that? What was the publisher? They have like a blue, thank you. Yeah, and there were a few of them that were under that. I think Rialto may have even been under there. They had a very different, like the way they look.
Rialto, yeah.
It might have been. But anyway, they had a different kind of box look. And I remember they all kind of came around the same time. I digress. I'm wasting time here because I actually don't know the answer to this one. And I know I'm going to be wrong. I think I'll get one right, but not both.
2 out of the 3 came out along with Amerigo and Bruges in 2013.
Marigot and Bruges. I'm also thinking of the box styles. And the box styles that were most similar were Bora Bora. See, Rialto's the tricky one because Rialto does look like Castles of Burgundy. So to make sense, it probably is Rialto and Castles of Burgundy. I'm going to say that because the box styles were very similar. Bora Bora fell into that timeline of like La Isla and those ones. So I think I'm wrong, but I'm going to say Rialto and Castles of Burgundy. It's Bora Bora,
you got
isn't it?
one. Yep, Bora Bora and Rialto both came out in 2013. Castles of Burgundy came out in 2011.
Dagnabbit, I knew it. I
gotta say, Mandi, I feel like you did phenomenally well on that game. And you truly know your Stefan Feld because you only got a couple wrong. And that last one was challenging, right?
To be fair, I implore you all to go and look at you'll see what I'm talking about, box style. And that's where I was like, I couldn't remember. The shelf is there and I just can't think of it. You will see the difference in the way the boxes looked. And then you'll be like, so I was remembering incorrectly.
Well, good job, Mandi. I will give you a solid B plus A minus on that.
Not even an A minus?
And I said B plus A minus. I got to look at the points. We'll score it separately later on that one. Good job. That was Board Game Timeline, the Stefan Feld edition, just for you, Mandi. Next episode, I think you've got something up your sleeve for me.
Oh, I do. I have.
I definitely feel like you've been winning the games. Like,
no,
I got to come up with something. You did too good on this one.
I don't know about that. We'll see.
All right. Enough of that shenanigans. Let's talk about the games we've been playing.
Okay, well, I had a pleasant surprise with this first game. It's honestly been sitting on my shelf for a little while. I was like, well, I don't know. It's a team game, 2-player or team. And I'm like, I don't really like the way that's going. But alas, I've had a really great game group on Tuesday nights. They're like, let's play it. I'm like, cool. Let's try it. So that is Zenith, and it's designed by Gregory Girard and Mathieu Roussel, and art is by Xavier Guinifet-Durin, and it's published by Playpunk. I don't know this publisher, actually. I don't know if you know any games from them, but this was a new one
I don't know
for me.
off the top of I certainly.
Okay, yeah, so that's new for me. 2 to 4 players, but it is one of those 2 players or 4 player games. So it's not technically 2 to 4, it's 2 or 4. And it plays in about 25 to 35 minutes, and it retails for about $40 Canadian. And wow, here we go again in space. It takes place in the future and solar system, which is inhabited by 3 races: humans, robots, and Animods. Yeah, I know. It's kind of out there. So what you're trying to do is unite the planets to gain control of the Senate. That took a right turn, but that is what you're trying to do. So you can play it one against another player, or you can play 2 against 2 other players. And it's very interesting because you have a main board, which has these planets, and then you have another board that attaches on the right with little curves on it, because this is where you're going to put tokens on once you've won the token to your side for that specific planet. Now, on your team, the person who's sitting closest to the right only has access to the 3 rightmost, like the middle and then the rightmost planets. The person on the left has access to the middle and the leftmost planets. So when you're playing cards and things like that, the person on the left can't play cards to the planets on the right. So this is where you have to try and coordinate, but you can't exactly show your teammate your cards. And then you also have another board that's kind of almost like, I don't say influence. It's more like where you can, well, kind of is. You can use it to push up the track, and it allows you to get more resources or things that you can use to push these tokens on your side of the board. And we'll explain how that works. The board with the planets has like a token on each planet space. And what you're trying to do is get that token off on your side of the board so you can put it at the top of the board. And the winning condition is you either get 3 of the same color. I think it's 3 of the same color, 5 of any color, and then I forget there's another one where you get 4 of something. But there are like 3 winning conditions, and whoever meets that, whatever team meets that first or player meets that first, then you're going to win the game. So some actions that you can do, you have cards. And when you play cards, there are going to be abilities on it, which could be like move this token 3 steps toward you and move the one over there, another step. So maybe those planets you can't reach, you're able to do that based on a card that you're playing. They have a cost. If you have cards in that row for that planet, it discounts the cost of the cards. That's nice. There's also a token you can acquire, which lets you draw more cards at the end of your turn. That's always really handy. You can also play cards to pass cards to your teammate, which is really nice. You can also play cards to move up that other track I was telling you. It's almost like an influence kind of track that allows you to get some other benefits or bonuses. There are also actions there are also actions which make you give things to the other team. So it gives you something really good, but then you have to give the other team something, which I managed to do a few times because then they were just pushing up that kind of influence track. So they were getting lots of bonuses and stuff. But in return, we were getting some really big moves and getting some of those tokens off. So it was pretty tight. So I would take my turn, and then the player on your team would take their turn, and then it would go to the next team. And then you would repeat that until someone meets those end game conditions. That's it, really. There's looking a little back and forth, trying to look at some of the symbols on the cards to make sure you understand them, because there were a couple that were a little confusing, but like symbols like, oh, if this happens, okay, you have to give it to the other player, or there were a couple instances where it were a bit confusing about where it was, because it was like it'd have a symbol in front, and then you're like, okay, but now you have a different symbol for giving it to another player. So I feel that could have been a little more consistent. But other than that, it was pretty clear, and there was a nice player aid to help you along. So, and it was gain 4 influence from different planets. That was the one I had missed for the victory condition. So 3 influence discs from the same planet, 4 influence discs from different planets, 5 influence discs from any planets. Those are the ones I was telling you about that you have to move in order to get them off the board. So that is Zenith. And the game ends as soon as you meet one of those conditions. So normally, not a big fan of games that you play as teams. And I don't really get 2-player games to the table. So I did not play this with 2 players. I did play it mostly in the team mode, but I feel it would play very similarly one-on-one. And we had a good time with it. It was actually played really quickly. The rules for the most part were pretty straightforward. It took a minute with some of the, the icons and things like that. So that was a bit of a struggle in the beginning, but we kind of got our hands with that. And there were a couple close calls where the other team was really close to winning. I'm like, oh my gosh, they have 2 of the same color. They're going to get 1 more and it's game over. And then we managed to pull up. I'm like, look at us with 4 from any planet, 1 more and we wins. It balanced out, and I like that they could really focus on one side of the board and we could focus on more, playing cards, and it was still a really close game. So I was pleasantly surprised. Pretty straightforward to set up. Card quality was pretty decent, and no one was kicked out. No one gets kicked out and has to hang out and wait until, the game is over. Immediately done once someone meets the conditions. So art was cute. And y'all know space is not really my jam, but I really find it was like a huge deal here. It worked and the art was cute. So I really liked Zenith. I was surprised because I'll be honest with you, I didn't think I was going to like it.
That's great. I took a peek because I was like, okay, I've heard of Playpunk before. Why? Well, Playpunk is a publishing house that Antoine Bauza and Thomas Provost started together, and they published Captain Flip. So that's is exactly. So knowing that background and hearing you talk about Zenith, it doesn't surprise me that you liked it, considering kind of the publisher history and mindset on games. Not too complicated, but not, well done. It sounds like a lot of fun. I'd love to try it sometime.
Yeah, I think you would like it. So Zenith, everybody.
Well done, you. First up for me this episode is a game called Leaders. This is from Studio H. It's designed by Hugo Frenoy, and we have Xavier Duran as the
Same artist.
illustrator. Pardon?
Same artist as in my game.
Oh my gosh, it is. Holy cow. That's bananas. And it makes sense because the art looks great in both games. So Xavier, well done. You're killing it. Killing it on it. So, okay, there you go. Leaders is a 2-player chess-like game. Basically, you're going to end up with a little team of characters and you have a leader, and you win the game by capturing the leader, essentially.
Okay.
So that's how it is in general. So it has one of the most unique box designs I've ever seen. So you open the box, you open the lid, and you've got the cards and the board. But then there's a drawer. So the lid lifts off like normal, but instead of just having it all in one thing, there's a drawer you actually pull out of the bottom of the box, and that's where you store the standees for your different characters. I haven't seen that done before. Kind of quirky and cool. And that's it. You've got this hexagonal board with spaces. You're going to have these characters. The cards represent the characters, and they tell you what the characters' special abilities are, and you're going to draft these. So at the beginning of the game, you pick which leader you want. It's just what color you want, basically. And these are very thick cardboard standees with full art on them. They look good. And then they go into a circular wooden base. So these are standees, and I know a lot of people are anti-standee, but these are nice standees. And what's interesting is because they're standees, you have a white background side to the character and a black background side. And that's purely because you're drafting. You don't know. Like, there's no teams here until you play the game. So you know which character it belongs to which player during play. Because if you're looking at the black background, you know that that's yours. If you're looking at the white background, you know that's your opponent's, that kind of thing. It's a clever, very simple way to handle that I thought worked quite well.
Yeah.
You're going to take turns drafting these characters and placing them on the start spaces on your side of the board. And then you take turns moving around and using special abilities. The game ends when one of two things happen. Either you get 2 of your characters adjacent to the enemy leader, or you completely surround, you basically trap the leader with anyone's heroes, yours or theirs. So there are things about adjacency, things like that your opponent may have their own characters around it. And if you can sneak one of your characters in there, bam, you win.
Right.
That's the general gist of the game. Draft characters, tactically move them around, capture the leader. We talked a little bit about the components. I think the gameplay is fun, and some people will compare it to chess. I think a little bit about Onitama in a way, with the way that you capture the leader and how the characters have special abilities. It's interesting. The randomness really comes in. You shuffle up the deck and you put 3 characters out that you can draft from. You never know what's going to come up, and you only have to pick from those 3, which is fine. But that does mean it can be challenging to create synergies on your team.
Yeah.
Which also may be fine because your opponent has that same struggle. But there have been a couple games where my opponent or I got a team that just synergized beautifully, and it was kind of a bloodbath. It was very, very quick, let's put it that way. And I will say the game plays very quickly, regardless of the balance of the team and things like that. I like leaders. I enjoyed my plays of it. It's easy to set up. It's easy to teach. It's easy to play, that kind of thing. It's beautiful. It's got great components. I did kind of feel that randomness was frustrating at times, not in a really bad way, because again, it's such a quick game. And there were games where you kind of sensed the end is coming. You knew how it was going to end, but you still had to get 4 turns to finish it completely, or 3 turns left to go. So you saw it and you just kind of had to execute. And I did play a couple games with the same person, and they were just like, I'm just going to concede because we see. I'm like, that's fine. Like, we can do it that way too. So Leaders is a gorgeous production, solid 2-player little tactical game. Very, very quick. I liked it. I thought it was a fun game. That randomness, as long as you know that going into it and you understand the balance is this very quick, streamlined gameplay, I think it works well for that. So that's Leaders.
I had to look it up, and I'm like, the art's super cute, like nice.
Yeah, Xavier's killing it on the art. It's gorgeous. It is a gorgeous game. The cards have a real high quality. I think they even have like foil stamping on them, if I recall correctly. So yeah, it's nice.
Yeah, no, that looks good. I love that we both picked games from. So it must be Studio H. I wonder if Studio H probably also. I wonder if they put out Zenith as well, because I just pulled. There are several publishers. That's just the one that I had pulled up. So I'm curious.
No.
No, okay. So it's
Just like
just happened to work on it.
yeah.
Okay, very cool. All right, leaders. A two-player game. I'll have to see if I can get it to the table, but it does look very cool. The last game I'm going to talk about, I think it's fairly new. I know a few people have talked about it. I posted about it. It's called Scurry Up. It's about squirrels. I mean, the name might have given that away. I don't know. And it's designed by David Gordon and Tam.
We
And
know Tam.
yeah, actually, and we know David too. We played their game at one
Oh,
of the
that's right, the
conventions.
space game, right?
The
Yeah.
yes, the space game. Here we go. Suzanne's spilling secrets here. All right. So Scurry Up. Art is by Ammon Anderson and Sandra Tang, Sandara Tang, and it's published by Up Games. It's for 3 to 6 players, but I don't have a price. I looked it up and I didn't see one now. It's fairly new, so that could be part of the reason. So this is a fairly short game. Like, it's not a very long or complicated game, but you're literally squirrels trying to race up the tree and trying to get the best spaces on each branch level or each of the branches. And you can like basically knock people off. And I mean that not physically, but knocking people out of certain spots or preventing them from getting their resources like nuts, berries, flowers, and so forth. So what happens is the board itself is like 3 big puzzle pieces. So you just put them together and it's a tree. And then the branches are made out of cards. And the cards will have spaces for each of your squirrels to potentially go to, but the spaces act differently depending on which one you're looking at. So some of them require 2 squirrels to be in that space. Some will only allow 1, or some you have to share. And then you share the resources in that space. They're just different requirements for each one. And they'll have symbols. Like if it's a heart, you want to be together, and then you'll be able to share those resources and that sort of thing. Depending on how many players that you're playing with, I think it plays up to 6. So it's fairly amount, and we've played it with the higher player counts. Each player gets a squirrel. That's going to be the one that goes out. And then you have squirrels on different tracks. So there's like a flower track. And then there's I call it like the oopsie track. I know that's not the technical name for it. It's like when you don't get anything, you go up on this track. So you even get points for that. And then you have a die. The die you don't roll. That's like your die that you're going to say, this is the space I'm going to. Because each space is like, if you're going on the left, that's space 1 and so forth. So ideally, you want to try and tell people, yeah, like I'm going to go to space 1. You know what I mean? Like kind of bluff. But maybe you want someone to go there with you because it's a space where you have to share the space with someone. Otherwise, you aren't getting anything. So that sort of thing. So you're supposed to, once you've determined what you're going to do, you're going to put the die in your hand on the side that you're going to, on the die side, which will show the number of the space you're going to go onto. And then when you're ready, you're supposed to put your thumb up so it looks like a tail. And that signifies to everybody that you're ready to show your number. So after you're talking, I'm going to go here, la, 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 la. Then you show your die number. So you might be telling the truth, you might have lied, but then somebody else might have been lying, and then you all have gone for the same spot, which means none of you are going to get it. Just depends. And if you're successful, then you'll get all those resources. It could be berries, moving up the flower track, whatever the case may be. If not, then you're moving up on that oopsie track that I mentioned. And then there's going to be some end game scoring for all those things. So you're going to do that for each of the branches till you get to the last branch, and then you're just going to calculate all of your points. And it's going to be looking at who got the most berries, who got the second most berries, who was the highest on the flower track. My favorite are the bugs. So you get bugs as a resource. And at the end of the game, you're supposed to throw them in the air. And then whatever side they land on will determine how many points they're worth. If they're alive, they're 3 points each. If they're dead, it's 1 point per bug. That's a thing. So I was like, okay, I get it. And then the little oopsie track has its own scoring, like whoever was highest on that track and that sort of thing. And that's literally the game. So it's really, I'm not hugely into bluffing games. This is generally not a game that I would say, okay, I need to have this. That doesn't mean it's a bad game. I totally could see it plays a bigger group, having that chatter at the table with that interaction, like, I'm going to go here, I'm going to go here, when full well people are probably lying or want you to think that, but that's the fun of it, right? We had a good time playing it. Is it my type of game that I would probably play a lot of? No, but I had fun for what it was, and you got to take it for what it is. So Scurry Up, it's a family-friendly game. I think families would be great to play this, or if you just want something light and quick and silly fun, I think you would really enjoy it. So Scurry Up, there you go.
It sounds cute, and it looks cute. I looked it
It
up while
is.
you were talking, and it's super cute. I love that.
Yeah. I think there are a lot of people that will like this one.
There you go. Last game for me, Waddle. Waddle is designed by Corné van Moorsel. We have illustrations by Anka Gavriel and Daniel Porphyry, and this is published by Allplay. It's one of their small box games, the small little square boxes, plays 2 to 5. I will start off by saying that Corné van Moorsel, who is a designer that I've long admired and really loved his designs, over the years, I would say that some of his more controversial personal stances on certain topics have come
Right.
out. Certain stances that lean into zones of like eugenics and things like that that I strongly disagree with. And it leads to the point that I got Waddle before I realized that he was the
Right.
designer of the game, that this was a re-implementation of an older game of his called Gypsy King, which, yeah, exactly, which is a whole different thing,
That's a
right?
whole other thing. Gosh. Wow.
And of course, Cornet's also accusing Rebellion Unplugged over plagiarism over their game Joyride, saying that they're stealing his game Powerboats. There's a lot written about this. If you want to go look it up, you can. I don't have any comments on this podcast about that, but I
Yeah.
wanted to call that out because I think it's important that we recognize that you can like things from people who like people that you vastly disagree with may make a game that you like. I still think it's upon me to call out when that exists. I would not have
Absolutely.
purchased this game
Yep.
or picked up this game if I'd known Cornet was the designer. So that said, I had it, I played it, I'll talk about it. All right,
Sure.
let's push through this.
All right.
Basically, Waddle is a penguin theme game, much better than the G word
Mm.
in terms of theme, where you will take these little placards, you will set up a random board that has ice and little pools of water, little ponds or what have you. And then every player gets a little handful of penguins and a marble that is their turn tracker. And turn tracking is a huge deal in this game. Basically, are placing on your turn, you are either going to place a penguin or move your marble to the next turn order track.
Uh-huh.
If you place a penguin, the pool hexes have numbers on them. And so there's a little marker that marks which pool is active at that time, and you go low to high, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Like you know the order, which is also very important for this game. And if you choose to place a penguin, it must go around that active hex.
Okay.
And then if it's all full up, then you must take turn order, switch turn order. If nobody is out there, if everybody is passed and you're still out there, you must use your penguins to fill the empty spaces that are still active for that
Okay.
hex. Cool. You keep on doing that until you're all done, until all the pools are taken care of, and then you score it. You're going to score points in 2 ways. One, the size of your groups of penguins. Groups of penguins are called waddles, which is like the cutest thing ever.
That's very
And
cute.
so the more penguins you have in a grouping, a consolidated grouping, more points. And then the ponds have fish in them. And it plays a little differently 2-player or 3, 4, 5-player. But basically, you're going to score points for the fish by majority. If you're in a multiplayer game, you basically take turns getting points for the number of fish in that pool. Most points wins. Is an area control game. It is mean. It is very, very mean in that area control way. The switching the turn track is a huge deal. There's a huge advantage to going first.
Right.
At first, you feel like, no, I want to get a lot of penguins out, but that strategic placement, assessing the board, understanding, the order that you're going to attack, and seeing where hexagons are adjacent to each other down the line. And you're like, okay, what you are trying to do is you're trying to get penguins onto the hexes that are adjacent to multiple pools if you can.
Right.
And then you're trying to get your penguins in groupings for those waddles because you need a lot of points for waddles. It's fairly strategic for such a small, relatively quick game. It's pretty impressive on how that works. So ultimately, if you like area control, it's got that all play production. The penguin theme is adorable. It's a solid game. It's a very solid game. There's a little expansion with orcas and ice flows that change it up as well. I like Waddle.
Uh-huh.
I think it's a good game. I think there are other great area control games as well out there.
Okay.
Choose choose accordingly. You know, I will say that when Factory Funner, another one of Corné Van Worsel's games, came up, there was some discussion publicly with All Play by other people, not me, about like, oh, you know, are we supporting Corné and we don't want to do that, you know, et cetera. And they kind of explained that, you know, they bought out the rights to these games and that individual sales didn't render royalty fees to Corné. So take that as well for what it's worth. But I liked Waddle. I printed an insert for it, Mandi.
Heyo.
There you go.
So wait, I have to say this. Every time someone talks about penguins, and I don't know if you saw this, all I can think of is Benedict Cumberbatch. I don't know if you know, he did a documentary on penguins, and he could not say penguins. It got progressively worse as the documentary went on. Penguin. Like, it just kept getting, it was hilarious. So
I'm going to have to look that up.
You need to look it up. So that's what everyone says. And that's all I can think of. Anyway, he's a good sport about it, but
love
yeah,
it.
It was something.
All right, Mandi, it's that time. It's time for some dessert. Let's serve up a game pie.
All right.
Okay, folks. Last episode's game pie went a little off the rails.
Apparently not, Suzanne. Apparently, I was on a fishing boat, as someone says, and you were playing games on a yacht.
Right, exactly. I love that. That was hilarious. I think Jordan said that. I'm like, yeah, Jordan, that's right. But I also love how everybody was basically like, okay, Suze had the boat games, just do games you could play in space. We saw that comment a couple of times.
That's great. I love it.
For reals, folks out there, you bring me a lot of joy. You're ridiculous. I love that.
It's amazing.
We are not doing games you can play in space today,
funny,
but
though.
We'll think about that one in the future. Today's pie is full of little sibling games. No, these aren't games you would play with your little sibling, although maybe you would. These are the smaller versions of bigger box games. So these could be like the dice game version, the card game version, the duel version, things like that are, you know, this big box game that everybody loves comes out and then they're like, great, let's lean into this and make smaller versions. So it's the little sibling games and our favorites of those. Mandi?
Oh boy, yeah. Mine is going to be one that's appeared on a few lists. My first slice of Sibling Game Pie, but that's fine because it's popular. And that is Castles of Burgundy, the card game. I'm just
solid
saying.
Choice. If it's good, it's good.
It's good. I mean, the classic Castles of Burgundy, you know, everyone know, well, most people know that, especially when they're coming into the industry. And I thought the card game would be a smaller table print. How wrong was I? Because that thing takes up the entire table. It is wild to me. Such small cards, huge amount of table space, but it plays very similarly, right, to the board game. Actually, it's been a really long time since I've pulled that out. I think I might have to resurrect this one, but I played it a lot. Michael, if you're listening to the podcast, we used to play it lunchtime all the time. Castles of Burgundy, the card game, love it. Not great, though, if you want a small area type game, but it is it's a nice adjacent game. It's a little sibling game to the original.
Perfect for the pie.
Yeah.
First slice for me, Rajas of the Ganges Dice Charmers. This is the roll and write game sibling to Rajas of the Ganges. And I like it better because Rajas of the Ganges, as I've mentioned it before, but it's been a while, I never cracked that game. I could never figure out how to make that game work. Rajas of the Ganges, one of the hooks in the game is, well, it's dice as workers, but then you have two different kinds of points, and they start at opposite ends of the track, and you are gaining both points, and where they cross is your final score.
That's brutal.
I never figured out how to make that engine work. That is not the game problem. That's just I did not click for me. I could not figure it out. I played it like 4 times, 5 times maybe, just desperate to figure it out, and I couldn't. Meanwhile, here's Rajas of the Ganges, much simpler game in a lot of ways, but it also has those tracks, and I could figure this one out. On top of that, it is a very solid, I mean, thematically, it's set in the Rajas of the Ganges kind of setting and things like that, and it has that score track element, but the rest of the mechanisms, there's just small thematic ties to Rajas of the Ganges, but it's a really, really solid, really good roll and write as well. So Dice Charmers is my first slice for little
Yeah, that's a fun one. That's a good choice. I like that one. My next slice of pie is Istanbul, the dice game.
Solid.
So I like the original game as well. I think there are like 3 different ones of this one. There's a dice game. There's a roll and
yeah, there's the dice game is not a roll and write
No,
game.
that's right. So, yes, because some people have asked, I'm like, no, because I don't think I have. Oh, no, I do have the roll and write. But this is the dice game version. And again, it plays very similarly to the original game and just in dice form. Obviously, there are some slight differences, but for people who are not familiar with it, it's you're trying to collect rubies and you have different locations that you're trying to move to in order to do that. In this case, you have dice that are going to help you with the resources. And there's points of exchanging for jewels, money, things like that. So I like it. It's very similar. It's not the same, but it's very similar to the original game. Do you find it plays any faster?
No, no.
I don't find so.
Especially if you know Istanbul well. Istanbul looks like it's more complex than it is. Istanbul is a phenomenal game.
It is.
And it's actually, I
so I find it plays very similarly. Like it's just a slightly different way of playing with that whole dice element. So Istanbul, the dice game, I enjoy this one as well. So
solid choice.
Yeah, it's quite good.
Next slice up for me, Imhotep the Duel. Imhotep is a game that has a lot of table presence because you've got all these wood blocks and you're like building up pyramids and structures and things like that. And I like Imhotep. It's fine. I no longer own it. But I do keep Imhotep the Duel. It is an excellent distillation of Imhotep and the concepts of Imhotep into a 2-player game. So 2-player only, you get this really clever board where you have the resources that you basically need and little boats. And basically you can fill the boats with these resource tokens and then claim the boats, and the way that the columns and the rows works, genius. And then you come back to your player board where you have the different monuments that you're doing and then you're allocating them accordingly. You can pursue different strategies about where you focus your energies and things like that. It's a delightful game. I love Imhotep the Duel. It's very good. It's the game family where you like the little sibling better than the big sibling.
It's true. I do have to agree with you on this one. Goodness. Well, my third slice of Sibling Pie is Arkwright the card game.
I have never played this, Mandi.
Really? Wow. I thought you had. So I had the original Arkwright, and I found it really hard to get to the table. Great game.
Massive
game. And usually I don't have a hard time. I mean, I have a lot of friends who enjoy that. It's just for some reason, this one was really hard to get to the table. So I was like, okay, you know what? Maybe I just won't hang on to it. I think I ended up selling it to a friend so I could at least play it if I really wanted to get back to it. And I said, can we do something similar but in a smaller kind of format? And this is where I found Arkwright, the card game. I actually think I picked this up at an Essen when we went to Essen at one point or another. So it is still not short, but it's not as long as the original game. And it definitely uses more cards than tiles and things like that. But the concept of the game is literally the same. It just has a more, I guess, I don't want to say finesse. That's not quite it, but it's a bit more concise than the original game. But the actual theming of the game, actions of the game are the same. So Arkwright, the card game, if you found the board game a little too much, you'll still get the essence of the game through the card game. I like it.
Interesting. Yeah, Arkwright was a beast. So it's interesting that it actually does streamline that. That's cool.
Yeah.
All right. For me, next is Coal Baron, the card game. Coal Baron, so these are both Kramer and Kiesling games. I'm a huge fan of that design pairing. They've done so many phenomenal board games. And Coal Baron is a great board game. And it's got this whole thing where you've got coal carts that are going down and you're pulling out minerals and things like that. It's solid game. I don't know if I like the card game better, but I really like what the card game does. So it's the same thing where you've got worker placements and you've got cards that you're trying to move these resources through. There's a stock certificate element to it as well. It's got a lot going on. It's one of those things where like the card game doesn't inherently mean it's a light game. It's not Arkwright, on the other hand. But Coal Baron, the card game, if you haven't played it, I would check it out if you like kind of that worker placement on cards with that variability. It's a real good distillation of Coal Baron. If you've played Coal Baron and you haven't played the card game, I recommend that. If you haven't played Coal Baron, you could just play the card game and get a good feel for the vibe of what that is.
I'm pretty sure. I don't know if this is the game. I might be wrong. This game did not resonate with me.
Fair.
I've never played the original though. So I'm curious if I played the original, if it might change my mind a little bit. Do you know what I mean? It was fine.
An app version of Coal Baron floating around there for a while. I don't know if it's still active, but yeah,
I might have to try it.
I mean, Mandi, we do not have to like the same
No,
games, you know, and
but
that's fine.
it's bothering me because I haven't played the original one. Anyway, I'll have to
Okay.
revisit. My last slice of pie, and I do have another one I want to talk about after. 'Cause I
Wait,
think Susan, it's just I actually think you and I will have a brief discussion about it. But this one is my last slice of pie, quote, 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 Dulosaur Island. And Dulosaur Island is not an exact translation of the board game. It has a lot of similarities in that you're trying to, you still have the hand management. You're trying to create the parks, oh my gosh, words, having a brain fog moment. You're trying to contain your dinosaurs. That's a terrible word. I'm sorry. It's the only one that come to mind. And you're in this park, right, and trying to have them together and trying to generate revenue and things like that. So you're still doing all this, and you're still going to have in this game, assistants are going to come and help you, and you have dice and other things that are going to help generate resources and things like that. So a lot of the main components are there, but it definitely is a much shorter game, a much smaller. I mean, it still takes up some table space, but it is definitely less than the original game. You'll get the essence of the game, but it does play there are some slight differences. So Dulosaur Island is great. I love the original board game, and I love this enough that I have both. Like, I don't feel the need that I have to keep one over the others. Dulosaur Island only plays solo and 2-player, so that may be something that factors into your decision as well. So Dulosaur Island, I enjoy.
excellent choice. I love Dulosaur. It's really, really good. That is a great choice. Last up for me is Broom Service, the card game. Broom Service, really well-known game, really solid and fairly innovative because you would have, it's safe and risky, I think is what the terms are. You can take actions in a safe manner or a risky manner, and just a delightful board game. Then they have Broom Service card game, and they clung on to that mechanism, and it's just so delightful. So now you have cards that you can play safely or with risk, and you're trying to collect potions and things like that. And there's a little bit of push your luck in there as well. And they just did a great job. Broom Service, the card game, was every once in a while I'll find a game that I like and I just want to share. And so I'll buy multiple copies, especially when it's affordable, like Broom Service, the card game was, or if it went on sale. So it was one of those games, I literally had like 8 copies at one point just because I collected them to give away to friends as a gift. And that's how good it is. So Broom Service, the card game, I don't know so much that it's a distillation of Broom Service. Broom Service has more going on, but they kept the heart, especially in that risky, safe movement, and put it around a very delightful, pretty streamlined gameplay. It's great. Highly recommend it. Broom Service, the card game.
Yeah, that's a great one. And I played that before I played the original game, actually.
Yeah.
So it was really nice entry into that. I enjoyed that quite a bit.
All right, Mandi, what's this cheating that you're trying to do?
Super quick, and I didn't even think of it until after we started talking, is Lost Cities, but specifically, is it the Roll and Write? There are just so many Lost City games.
Are there?
Yes. I have a lot of them, to be
honest. They did,
honest.
because, Lost Cities was one where it started off as a card game, and then they made a board game. They went up.
Exactly. They did the other way, and then there were branches off of that. So I just wanted to say that is another one where it has spawned, I don't love all of them, but it has spawned quite a few, siblings, if you will. Somebody was cheating on somebody.
Whoa, all right.
And there are lots of little siblings running around. So I'm just saying. Yes, very awkward. But that might be a venue or an avenue someone might want to look at because there are some good ones within Lost Cities as well. So.
Excellent. Thanks for that, Mandi.
No problem.
All right. With that,
yeah.
Mandi, you're a delight. Hey, we're going to call that an episode. I'm getting away from that as fast as I can.
Probably a good idea.
Thank you so much for being here. If you have any comments about the promiscuity of Lost Cities, feel free to send us an email, sassgames@gmail.com, or you can comment on our Board Game Geek Guild thread. That's Guild 4131 on BoardGameGeek.com. And we're on there, check in comments, and I love seeing what folks write there. Or you can always chat us up on the socials.
Yeah, you might be getting a good laugh right now going, oh my goodness, that Mandi and Suzanne, so silly. You can find us, watching us on the Twitch or the YouTube. And there we are, Salt and Sass Games. That's Salt and Sass Games. You can find me on Instagram and Blue Sky at 613Mandi. That's Mandi with an I. How about you, Suzanne?
And you can find me on Blue Sky. I'm at 425 Suzanne. As always, it is a pleasure and a privilege to be podcasting with you. Thank you so much for making us part of your extended gaming family and for being part of ours. It's really great. And, Mandi, it's so fun when you do get comments on social media or in our Board Game Geek thread or whatever, and people are like making jokes that just show that they've been hanging with us for a long time. And that's super duper cool. That's so fun. And we appreciate you. Mandi, for what it's worth, so this is going to drop, I think, February 25th. The week after this, I'll be at Gamma Trade Show. It's kicking on. So Gamma Trade Show last year, thank God, in Louisville, Kentucky. It's a nightmare to get to Louisville from Seattle. I'm just going to say that. And so I will be there. And so depending on when we record, hopefully next episode I'll come back with some cool tales to share from Gamma.
That'll be great. Love it.
In the meantime, until next episode, y'all stay safe out there. Take care of yourself and your loved ones. Drink a lot of water and stay hydrated. And play a lot of games. We'll see you next time. Bye.
Promotional consideration has been provided by game publishers in the form of review copies of games. If you'd like to support the podcast, please check us out on coffee.com/saltandsassgames. Thank you for your support. We are also part of the Goonhammer Media Network. Check out more of their content on media.goonhammer.com. Salt and Sass is produced with love by Mandi and Suzanne, and we'll be back next episode with more salt, more sass, and more games.